everyone, it's Elizabeth from Fern Creek Stickers, and I'm here today to share some of my favorites from Q3. I've never done a favorites video before, but I thought this would be fun, and I'm going to be sharing a range of favorites. Some things that are splurges, some things that are free, some things that are cheap. So a range of different things that I enjoyed in July, August, and September. So I'm going to start with two splurges. So the first one I mentioned in my morning routine video, and that is makeup from Merit Beauty. I talked about this. I am somebody who I've always been kind of back and forth about whether or not I wear makeup. I'll go like years without wearing makeup and then go years with wearing a little bit of makeup. I've never been a big makeup person, but I just like a little bit of makeup to look a little more put together. But going back to work, I felt like I just looked tired. I needed a little something. And I had been using a tinted moisturizer for years and it was discontinued. So I needed to find something else. And this was an Instagram ad. Clearly Instagram knew I was looking for some new makeup and suggested Merit Beauty. It's a little bit of a splurge, although I feel like for what you get, it actually is a really good price. And I got their 5-minute morning set. So this is the makeup bag that it comes in. So I got a set of different things. So the set has everything that you need for a full face of makeup. I am currently wearing everything from that set right now, and I have really liked it. And it really is like 5 minutes to just look a little bit more awake, a little bit more put together. Overall, it's a pretty small line of products, and I think that the advantage of that is I feel like every product is really well thought through and really perfect. Like the mascara, I really feel like is the holy grail mascara. It doesn't smudge, it wears well, but it comes off easily at the end of the day. It is just amazing. So I have loved this makeup. I will definitely be rebuying this as stuff runs out. So it's definitely nicer makeup. It's a little pricey, but I think totally worth it, and I have loved using it. And it's just helped me to look a little bit more awake and put together. The next thing, which is also a splurge, are some pants from Anthropologie. So I got 2 pairs of their Colette pants. I got a pair of jeans and I also got a pair of black pants. So the Colette pants are wide leg cropped pants, and I am currently branching out from skinny jeans and leggings, which is pretty much what I have worn for years at this point. And now I'm like, why? I still like skinny jeans, but now I'm like, why did I spend so much time just wearing skinny jeans? Because there are a lot of other great cuts of pants out there. You know, Anthropologie is definitely a splurge. I did get these on sale, but an Anthropologie sale is like 20% off. So definitely a discount, but not anything amazing. These pants, they are so comfortable and they also look really good on me. So for my body type is I have a pretty high natural waist and overall pretty slim through my hips, so I'm not super curvy. And so high-waisted things always look really good on me. I really like the cropped wide leg. I think also looks really good on me. And I got them in petite. I'm 5'3", and the petite hits at the perfect spot. If you're short, you also know that getting things that are actually cropped can be a challenge, and these are actually have like the perfect cropped length. And you can definitely wear cropped pants year round, but for living in Alabama, I think it's perfect because especially we have a pretty good long like fall and spring, so I think that they're perfect for those seasons. I will probably wear them in the winter some, but I think I like full length pants better in the winter when it's really cold. But I think these pants are super cute. They look really good on me, perfect for petites, really flattering. So I think I'm definitely going to be waiting for another sale to hopefully snag another pair or two. I really want the pants in green as well, and the jeans also, I got the dark wash. There's also a light wash that I would really like. So I have loved these pants. I've been getting a ton of use out of them. Really versatile, really flattering. So a splurge, but I definitely like them, and if you have a similar body type, they might look good on you. So moving to a couple planner things. The first thing is the pen that I've been using, which is the Sarasa Mark On Point 4. And if you watched, I did a whole pen test video on Hobonichi paper, and I've been loving this pen, and not just on the Hobonichi paper. So I had bought a bunch of pens from Jet Pens and tried them all out, and then this one I found, I think, a 20 pack on Amazon, so I ordered a 20 pack of them so I could just put the pens everywhere. And I've been using it for everything. So for writing on just, you know, to-do lists, grading papers, using it for all kinds of things. So I've really been enjoying this pen. I think it works well on the Hobonichi paper. I've had very, very few issues with smearing, and I think it just looks good and writes well on everything. So I've been loving this pen. The other thing that I've been loving planner-wise is it's no secret that I've been loving being in the Hobonichi Cousin. It's been a great planner. But one of the things that I've really had fun with is in the daily pages, I have been using my washi tape collection. I have a decent washi tape collection, and I'm not always really good at pulling it into my planner, but I've been using my washi tape a lot more in the Cousin in the daily pages. It's fun to play with, fun to figure out how to use it, and gives you just more opportunities for using washi in some decorative and functional ways. So I've been loving getting to go into my washi collection and get a lot more use out of it. So then I have two things that I've been listening to. The first one is listening to NPR on the radio, which maybe sounds kind of silly. I grew up in an NPR household. We listened to NPR on the radio all the time, in the car, even just at home when people were doing stuff. So I grew up listening to NPR, and honestly, I do think that it just helped me become a well-rounded person. I knew about current events, I knew about random stuff that was going on, random cultural stuff, and this is something that I see with my students sometimes, is that they don't have a really well-rounded knowledge base. So I realized, like, I want Daniel to listen to NPR and to just get absorbed in this. And obviously at this point, he's not even one yet. He's not understanding it, and it doesn't make sense to him. But I started listening in the morning when we drive to daycare. I've started listening to NPR on the radio with him, and I really enjoyed it. I listened to a lot of NPR podcasts, but there is something I like about just hearing whatever is on, and that sometimes you hear random cultural stories, and sometimes you hear about a news story you wouldn't have heard about otherwise. So I really enjoyed just listening to NPR on the radio and, you know, seeing what you get when you're in the car. And the other thing I've been listening to is the Wilder podcast. So this is a podcast that looks at Laura Ingalls Wilder and the Little House on the Prairie books. I read these books as a kid and loved them. I have not read them since I was a kid. And the podcast is really interesting because it goes into a lot of the history around the books, so things about like how they were written, and some of that is fascinating, that Laura's daughter was very involved in the writing of the books, and Laura's daughter was a prominent libertarian, and so there's issues about like how did libertarian philosophy get in the books, and also things too, like there were a lot of things that were even worse than what happened in the books that Laura just couldn't bear to write about, so that was pretty interesting. And also too, talking about issues of history and writing history and representation, and how do we deal with like how Native Americans are portrayed in these books, and how do we deal with that today as kids' books. So I think it's a really interesting podcast. I really enjoyed it, and I think it does, if you love the books, I think that you'll enjoy it, and I do think it does a good job thinking critically about the books, but not trying to take anybody's joy away or make you feel bad that you enjoyed them as a kid. So I think it's a just really fascinating podcast, and I enjoyed listening to it a lot. So in terms of reading, I've managed to do a lot of reading this year, mostly because I read on my Kindle when I'm nursing Daniel. So I have had a lot of time for reading. And when I was looking at the books that I read over the last 3 months, I think the book that I liked the most was After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I've been reading through all of her books this year, and I hadn't read anything before. I really, really enjoy her books, and they're all really different from each other. After I Do was really a good book. It's in some ways a hard book to read because it's about a marriage that is on the rocks, but I think ultimately it reinforces how important marriage is. But it's definitely, it's hard to read when you're reading about these difficulties in a relationship. And I think when you read about that, there's always a little bit of, you can like see that in your own relationship and think about that as it relates to you. Not necessarily always a fun or an easy read, but it was a really good book, really compelling, very satisfying, and very realistic. So another small thing that I have really enjoyed is thanks to Brian. So Brian came up with a template for our grocery list. I'm gonna make a whole video coming up about meal planning and grocery shopping, but so you'll see this in more detail then, but it's essentially he just used an Excel spreadsheet to make a list of the groceries that we buy most often, and then we print that out. We have a bunch printed out at any given time in the kitchen. And so first of all, the thing that's nice is since we have it already printed out, as we think of things throughout the week that we need, we can go ahead and put them on the list. But then it's a really easy way to just mark the things that we usually buy, and partly to check what we need, but it also, so it makes it really easy. It saves time writing the grocery list because you just, okay, this is what we need. We just need to check off these things that we need. There are also spaces on there to write in other random things that we might need, but it's definitely made grocery shopping really easy, and especially with the two of us working together, that Brian usually makes the list and then I usually do the shopping, so it works really well. And then there's no issues with, can we read each other's handwriting, any issues with that. So our grocery list template has been really helpful. And then the last thing going along with groceries that I will mention are allergen-free chocolate chips. You probably know that I am currently on a very restricted diet, although it's getting a little bit less restrictive, and hopefully within the next few months I will be able to get rid of all the restrictions. Nestle makes these allergen-free chocolate chips. They come in both semi-sweet and dark chocolate, and they are available pretty much everywhere. We usually shop at Walmart Neighborhood Market, and they have them there. So I feel like if they have them at the small Walmart, they're gonna have them most places. And they only have 3 ingredients. They don't have any major allergens. And I eat these every day as a little snack. And you can get lots of allergen-free chocolate now, but a lot of it is pretty pricey. And these are a little more expensive than regular chocolate chips, but it's not a ridiculous price. So if you have any food restrictions or people in your life that do, these allergen-free chocolate chips are really delicious as a snack or in baked goods or however you might want to use them. So I've really been enjoying eating those. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and hearing about some of the things that I've been enjoying. If you have any recommendations, I would love to hear about those, especially podcast and book recommendations. I am always looking for new things to read and new things to listen to. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and hearing about my favorites, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye everyone.